Disclosure News and Commentary number 163, 163, 163, 163, 163. I'm just going to jump right into the Joe Black thing. So this is the most popular of the clips. There is at least one other, but we're going to watch this one. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to break it down. There's a lot of opinions about this thing. I was there, saw it as it happened. We're going to talk about all of it. Let's just get to it. Joe Black had something to say at the Southern States show. I think everything he said was accurate, but I want to get to it, so let's do it. I just got home. I've been working since, God, I don't even know, 7:30 in the morning. It's now 10:30, so I'm starving like Marvin. Sorry. Let's go. Okay. Keep in mind, this is the end of the show. Why is that important? Emotions are super high. Joe Black, the heel champion, defended successfully. Crowd's not necessarily happy about that. His manager, Tyreek, did a great job riling them up at the end of the match before, which ended in a double countout. And Tyreek ostensibly took the blame for there not being 5 more minutes in that match. Alexander Hammerstone's idea, by the way. Brilliant. And then the show ends with the announcement that Joe Black is the unified IWE champion because Anthony Henry was the interim, all this kind of stuff. Lights go out, they come up, and Cruel is there. Cruel and Joe Black, most definitely an alliance in Southern Honor. In IWE, we're not sure, but Cruel put his hands on the manager, Tyreek, took him to the ground. Joe Black backed off. So that's the last thing that happened in ring. It's the end of the show, ostensibly. That's important for another reason. And this is something that I think that needs to be addressed, because there's this idea of, oh, the wrestlers were punks and didn't do anything. Most of them weren't back there. Most of them were already outside. This is the end of the show. Most of them are at their merch tables, or they're outside hanging out. Very few in the locker room. Huckabee was definitely there. Hanson was definitely there. All right. So Joe Black goes over, flips that dude's hat off his head. Let me make something clear. That fan, and I was privy to the conversations that that fan was having via text message, by the way. So now, yes, I do know stuff that most people don't know. That fan was drunk, angry, and was at first trying to put out the story that Joe Black hit his face in addition to flipping the cap off. Let me say that. I mean, am I right there? No. But let me say this. That just looked like a fucking hat flip to me. If somebody wants to try to dispute that shit, you're welcome to try. Fucking hat flip. Does a hat flip? No, so is it Joe physically crossing that barrier? Literally and figuratively? First, yes. Does a hat flip, and it's just a fucking hat flip, he didn't touch the guy's fucking face, Does that warrant the fucking headbutt? It does not. I don't know why I have to explain that. Do wrestlers make contact with fans, either their clothing, such as flipping off a hat, ripping off a sign, smacking a drink out of their hand? These are things that happen. Happen all the time. My God, I can't remember an appearance I made as Lethal Litigator where I didn't instigate some kind of fucking thing. And honestly went looking for a fucking fight, wanting to start shit. That's what you did as a wrestler back in the day. It's fucking dumb. Like, let me say that, but I did it. I think most heels did that really wanted that big heel reaction. He flips his hat, and then the headbutt happens. You know what that tells me? Right there we see the guy stand up. So Joe, let me make this clear. Joe is not antagonizing anybody. You know what I'm saying? Joe is not, this wasn't this guy standing up drunk and screaming. And Joe decides, I'm going to fucking humiliate this dude in a face-to-face thing. If that was the case, I would say Joe, at the very least, he wasn't culpable, but he should have expected something. In that, if the guy's standing up in a confrontational position, then he's going to feel more compelled to do something. But this dude is sitting down. That's why he's able to get to the hat at that fucking level. Boop, knocks the hat off. Dude stands up. He stood up and immediately made the choice to headbutt. This is not the action of a rational, clear-headed guy. This is a reaction of a guy that was already heated, but sitting down and reacted. That might sound like a defense of him. It's the opposite. It had nothing to do with I got touched on the face, because he didn't. It just was one of those things where I'm already yelling and screaming. This dude flipped off my hat. I'm not taking that shit. And to the wrestlers who act like they can't understand that, and again, do I think the fan is in the right? Not at all. Not at all. But this notion that it's such an unbelievable reaction, where the wrestlers who said that, some of them said, I can understand why Will Smith got out of his chair and smacked Chris Rock for a joke. I would have done the same thing. But you can't understand how somebody is embarrassed, gets his hat flipped off, and reacts physically. I'm not saying I agree with the dude. I don't. The fan. But let's not fucking pretend it's fucking out of nowhere. Okay? Let's not pretend if his fucking hat didn't get flipped off that he would have headbutted Joe. He was fucking sitting down, right? So one action brought about another that was disproportional to the first action. All right, so the headbutt happens. Pow! Catches Joe right there. Head snaps back. Doesn't go down. Let me emphasize that. That's a big fucking galoot who just fucking headbutted him in the fucking jaw. And Joe did not go down. Hat flip. Headbutt. and the punch retaliation right away. All this happens within 5 seconds. Confrontation, hat flip, headbutt to the jaw. Joe, as soon as he recovers, swings. And it is right about here that headbutt guy knows I fucked up. Immediately ducks and covers. So at the 5-second mark, Joe has now retaliated. Clubbing away. At 6 seconds, 1 second after all this shit goes down, we already see an arm of a security guard. I gotta dispel this notion right off the bat that security did nothing and they fucking blah blah. If you want to argue that security should have been in there because at an earlier show, 2 shows ago, Joe Black said something to somebody in the crowd during a tag thing or when he was on the apron, and when he was in, they got in the ring, said the thing to the fan jumped up on the apron. So it's a different situation, but it involved Joe Black and a fucking drunken ass fan, right? If you want to argue that, you know, there should have been security right there the whole time, I guess you can make that argument. I don't think I would make it, if I'm being honest. But from the time of the hat flip, headbutt and punch, which again took 2 seconds, maybe 3, the security guard's already booking it over there. This is the video. Is this in dispute? How can it be? 2 seconds hat flip. Second 3 and 4 headbutt. 5 punch. 6 securities there. The Secret Service agents, when Reagan got shot, didn't react that fucking fast. I'm just saying. Security guard makes the choice of what? I'm going to separate them. The other security guard is there in an instant. Both of them focused entirely on the man and fucking keeping him away. This security guard, you're telling me that's not a heads-up move? He grabs the barrier and pushes it to push the dude away. And then this guy's trying to control his hands. Cruel grabs a hold of Joe Black, ostensibly to attack him in gimmick, but to give him an excuse to stay out of this thing. I'm going to talk about that in a bit. Because the premise of a lot of people is a bunch of wrestlers should have jumped that barrier and stomped that guy out. I saw it from multiple people. And let me say right off the bat, I understand the instinct. I understand the instinct. And yes, there's a time in wrestling where that probably would have been done. I will own up to both of those things. We're at 11 seconds. So Joe's still trying to go. Cruel's holding him back, grabbing him by the neck. The security guard, as he's getting touched, he's trying to calm the situation down. Security, in the most obvious, calm situation down. People who had the premise that security should have been beating somebody's ass, I don't know what to tell you except for that is fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. The goal at this point is to stop this thing from breaking down like some Indiana Pacers bullshit. Because as much attention as this video has gotten, and it's gotten a lot, we're looking at close to 700,000 views. Factor in the other angles that have been shown, and the fact that the shit is now on TMZ, in addition to every major wrestling fucking site. This thing will be seen over 1 million times. Can you imagine the nightmare if this thing was 5 wrestlers stomping this guy out, the guy's friends and family feeling the need to get involved, and it turning into a full-blown fracas? Can you imagine the opinions people would have of Joe Black? The opinions people would have of pro wrestling? It's the kind of thing that gets you a commission, folks. It's the kind of thing that gets people shut down. It's the kind of thing that gets wrestling fucking banned. It's the kind of thing that leads to arrests. It's the kind of thing that leads to lawsuits. It's the kind of thing, and by the way, all of those things have been avoided. No lawsuit, no arrests. This fucking drunken fan has apologized to Joe Black. He went from, I demand an apology and I'm fucking pissed, to the next day being very contrite once he sobered up and realized. All that needs to be said. Okay. Dude is calm. He's leaning forward, but he is not in an aggressive position. He's running his mouth. Security's here, security's here. And Joe's back here. For all intents and purposes, the situation has definitely gone from DEFCON holy shit to being pulled back a little bit. The referees come out. Now, I had to hear bullshit about the referees where people were like, oh, the referees didn't fucking do anything. They're flooding the gap and calming shit down because somebody yelled for them to go out there. What is that? At second 18, that's my man Tyreek flying through. That's who the fuck that is. Boom. Tyreek goes over, starts swinging. Let me say something about Tyreek. Tyreek had his man's back. I said earlier that just based on the promos and the work that I saw, that Matt Hankins finally had competition for Manager of the Year. I think Tyreek, if you want to say it this way, and I probably shouldn't, but I'm fucking going to, gained clout. I don't think he was clout chasing. I think he was really sticking up for his fucking dude. You can see here, Cruel has Joe Black. The situation was calmed down, and then Tyreek comes in and starts throwing punches. This is not me judging Tyreek. This is me explaining exactly what you're fucking seeing in this video. If Tyreek had not come in and started swinging, would the situation have been done? Yes. 100%. Am I blaming Tyreek for this thing escalating? I guess, but am I blaming him in the sense that I'm saying I don't understand and it's completely out of fucking line? No. Because from his perspective, it's like, you fucking hit my fucking dude, fuck you. I completely understand. But that's what's happening. Don't fucking try to tell me that that's not what's... Don't tell me that security and the referees being in there, fucking Cruel grabbing Joe Black, and the fucking security guard, both of them being on that fucking motherfucker, didn't diffuse the situation. It was diffused. And if you don't see that, then you're just seeing it through whatever fucking lens you want to see it through. Tyreek comes over and hits the guy, and now the action escalates again. Because at that point, Joe goes from being restrained by Cruel in gimmick to, fuck, my dude jumped in and started hitting the guy. I gotta now fucking get with Tyreek. I gotta fucking stick up for Tyreek. That's what's happening. And I understand. Right? Immediately tries to move that referee out of the way. They go at it again. Now dude's friend is coming over to try to restrain. Not to fight anybody. To restrain his friend. And by the way, Who is this? It's a fucking referee catching the right arm of that guy as he's trying to swing it. So I don't want to hear this shit about the fucking referees did nothing. They flooded the gap to calm everything down, which worked. And then this one referee is the sole guy who's now fucking scrapping and restraining the guy throwing punches. At this point, Tyreek has been moved out of the way. After coming in, he can get his... Huckabee plows through. There's Josh Fields. Plows through to try to get the guy, but is not able to do it, which Huck was upset about because security guards grabbed him. But again, let me emphasize this. Their job is to fucking enforce the peace and to make it where people aren't getting fucking arrested, where the show isn't getting shut down, etc., etc. It's about safety. It's about security. Yeah. By the way, the venue's cool. Everybody's cool. That's important to note.
Get him out of here!
Get him out of here. So dude's shirt's now all fucked up between Tyreek, fucking Joe Black, the referee fucking yoking him up. That motherfucker put his hands on me. That's what he's saying right there. Let me play it again. This is the guy in his drunken state trying to justify because he realized this shit's gotten way out of hand, right? He didn't put his hands on you. Flipped your hat. And now this thing's gotten way out of hand. Where even big dude who's trying to restrain his friend is nowhere to be seen. Security's got him at the back, and he's put his hand on his shoulder. He's trying to calm him down. He's got his fucking hand on his belt, and he's grabbing it. And now Paige, fucking wife of the owner, is in the dude's face talking to him. People are out there in force. None of the wrestlers came out. Looks like a whole bunch of them are fucking there to me. Billy Brash is out there. Then he makes the call. Get this dude out. Now the guy's feeling some kind of way. I would guess this is pure speculation because he's surrounded by people who are basically, and hearing this, get that guy out of here. And his urge is to resist. Fuck it. He's still hopped up. He's still fucking mad. No, they're telling me, you know, the implication is they're going to throw me out. Fuck that. I'm not going. You're going, you're going, you're going. Multiple people. Get the fuck out, get the fuck out, get the fuck out. Wrestlers among them. And a referee grabbing that dude and pulling him out. Right here at the end of the clip, we got my man talking to Joe. And I could hear what he was saying. Gotta calm down, Joe. You gotta calm down, Joe. You gotta calm down, Joe. I'm right here. And I realize just telling Joe to calm down again and again and again and again and again is not only not really helping the situation. So I went up and I said something very different to Joe, which was, if this continues, other people are going to get hurt. And that calmed Joe down. And to his credit, he went to the back. And then things went outside and people were yelling and screaming and a bunch of bullshit happened. But that's it in a nutshell. What's my overall take? A million people are going to see this fucking thing, which is crazy. Joe flipped the dude's hat and didn't touch his face. But he did cross that line first. Dude headbutted him, which is a reaction that is way out of fucking proportion. People got there immediately and calmed the situation down. Except for Tyreek, who came in and whooped dude's ass, which I completely fucking understand. but it did reignite everything because Joe Black felt the need to get back into it. And now it was a game of really having to restrain people who were trying to get at each other. And then Huck and various others showed up. There were referees that not only got in the middle, but physically fucking restrained the guy from being able to retaliate and punch Joe back. And when push comes to shove, the fan has apologized, went back on his original position of people are going to have to apologize to me, to basically admitting fault. No cops were fucking going to be there. And then people got to say whatever they wanted to say afterwards. And it's whatever. Huck can say what he wants. And in his mind, I don't think he's lying or trying to self-aggrandize. I think he believes that. And I'm sure Joe feels the way he felt with what he said. But I'm showing you this to show you. Did security do nothing? No, they most certainly did not. Was the guy stomped out by a bunch of people? He was not. And under old wrestling protocol, would he have been? Yes. I will own up to that. I will also own up to my mind state at the time. Did I send anybody out there? You're goddamn right I did. And then did I go out there myself immediately thereafter? I most certainly did. Right? And what was my goal? I didn't want 3 things. The show to get fucked up. I didn't want anybody who wasn't directly involved in what was happening to fucking get hurt. I would be lying if I said the thought of like, fuck, that video's gonna fucking go everywhere. I'm in the business when I cover shows of getting videos to go everywhere. And they do. So I will admit to seeing like, God, if this turns... The first thing I thought was fucking Indiana Pacers. I'm like, if this turns into fucking this fight spreading out everywhere and involving multiple people, we're fucked. And my third thing was, I don't want Joe Black's life to become worse because of this. Period. And with all the people who were saying so-and-so should have been stomped out and blah, 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 what I haven't seen is consideration of, God, we got to make sure Joe Black's life doesn't get fucked up. Because that should be first amongst people's thoughts. Joe got headbutted, and that's fucked up. No doubt about it. But him getting arrested, his name being attached to some kind of barbarism, instead of what it is, which is, for most people, they understand that that fan is drunken fucking idiot and was way out of line. That is much better than Joe Black is fucking out of control. We don't even want to fucking go there. And we know that that's not a hard place for the media or general white public opinion to go. Now, let's get to the rest of full disclosure.
Yo, so yes, we're just opening that. We're in an atypical way. I think the Joe Black thing needed to be absolutely addressed. It's really weighing on me, and I wanted to get all of that out. I think I was pretty clear how I felt about the whole thing. Yeah. So moving on. We'll do things we usually do. I'm remembering to do the unboxing. Super duper cool. Then we'll talk about some events. We'll have our commentary, which is about this idea of teaching and making sure that we're teaching the right things so they can be applied. Is it a shirt? It is a shirt. I don't feel a note. I'm going to show you the same time I see it. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's something written on the back. I think this is the same person who sent me the other thing about You Are Enough, because they said I wear the shirts that I get a lot and they wanted people to see that message, which I thought was really freaking cool. And this one says something as cool, if not more so. Dear person behind me, the world is a better place with you in it. Love the person in front of you. It's fucking awesome. It's fucking great. I'm wearing, of course, one of Jimmy Ox's fucking great shirts. This is really lovely, and it's a really wonderful sentiment, and I'm already thinking of an excuse of when I can wear this when I'm not at work. Because at one job it would be blocked, and the other job I have to wear the work shirt. So I'm definitely going to look for an excuse to wear that shirt really as much as I can. I think it's wonderful. Gosh, people are fucking good. What's going on? gwhnewsandnotes.blogspot.com. Skrilla gone from KLT. That was not a work. They genuinely decided to get rid of him because of a dispute about a couple of things. I don't know if Skrilla wants me to share that publicly, so I'm not going to. Nonetheless, they just decided to strip him of the title and suspend him. Their fan base knew something dumb was up because they're like, because the excuse they gave was because the Peach Tree Mafia or the Peach State Mafia or whatever the fuck interferes in Skrilla's stuff because he's a heel. And they're like, but they've interfered for show after show. Why would he get suspended now? And the general perception that Skrilla, who's one of the most talented dudes they had on that thing, like, fuck, we're losing guys that are really good at this shit. Did that have an effect? You'll see in a little bit. Action Wrestling getting more freaking coverage. Tremendous. Platinum Championship Wrestling Report. Boy, did that sound like an awesome fucking show with some awesome fucking matches. PCW continues to improve. Tyreek is there. I said in a video, and a couple of people wanted to take umbrage to that Tyreek, I think, is going to give Matt Hankins some true competition and may win Manager of the Year. Fuck you. I'm fucking right. I mean, I'm not saying Matt Hankins is going to lay down for anybody. He is not. But I'm proud of Tyreek. And now having worked with him and fucking him throwing down for Joe Black. Fuck you, man. Tyreek is awesome. Tyreek is fucking awesome. And Tyreek and I have worked on shit that most people don't even know about. Alright? So I respect the fuck out of that dude. Fuck you guys, man. By the way, something I didn't say when I was reviewing the Joe Black clip that I wanted to make sure I said, so I'm going to say it now, is though Joe Black has expressed the fact that he knows he's not going to get signed and that's not his goal, that he just wants to work with younger people, and I think that's younger wrestlers, and I think that's fucking great. If out of all of this, Joe Black does not get at the minimum an AEW Dark appearance of some kind, fuck that. MLW, AEW Dark, NWA, somebody needs to use Joe Black. Someone needs to fucking book that man. I want to see him on a bigger fucking stage. I want to see it. That's just my selfish desire. Southern Violence and Wrestling, they drew 150, much more than before. They're in that new venue. Good stuff. Pro South Wrestling Report. Yet another show that seems like it's cooking. That's now like 4 in a row. And they're going, and they're going, and they're going. Look at the time we're in. WrestleMerica, attendance of 404. 404. On a weekend where you didn't have Action, didn't have Southern Fried, didn't have Southern Honor, Georgia Wrestling drew more than 1,000 people, well over 1,000 people. Thanks to WrestleMerica and IWE mostly. But nonetheless. Bobby Simmons was there at WrestleMerica. 10-bell salute for Charlie Smith. We're not going to be able to do this Charlie Smith tribute until next week, by the way. Because Bobby Simmons wasn't available. It just didn't feel like right to do it without him. Southern States Pro Combine Report. That shit sounded dope. And I'll say this for Larry, and I'll say this for Murder. Like, they're really upset at Larry. That doesn't matter to Larry. Like, he knew that this was going to be a significant and important event, and he wanted to cover it, and he was there. And I think that that's great. That everyone's allowed to express themselves and be themselves. But at the end of the day, you know, Georgia wrestling history pulls it together for the good of Georgia wrestling. I'm glad Larry was there to write this report. I can't wait to see what Jabari says as well. It just seemed great. I mean, DMC is a guy that I see in Florida all the time. I fucking love that dude. Exotic Youth showed out. A bunch of people showed out. It's a cool concept. They're going to start doing 2 shows a month in the summer. Best of fucking luck. It's great. KLT. The answer to the question, how would it affect them with their new building? And I've heard there's a lot of drama going on and people arguing about shit. What I do know is KLT, they dropped to 250 in attendance. I don't see them flexing and bragging about being number 1 anymore. And they've raised their ticket prices. We'll see what kind of residual effects that has. And they have a character named Miss Tessmacher, which is lame as fuck for a number of reasons. And then IWE report, courtesy of Justin Hancock, son of the viral owner. The fuck? Charles hasn't got his report in yet, but Justin Hancock got his in. Yep, an attendance of over 300. A really fantastic show. It was nice being there, helping out. Awesome, awesome shit. And they'll be back July 9th. Is anybody going to have a cooler poster than the Purge-influenced posters of IWE on July 9th? I challenge everybody. Whew. And now, commentary. I had a bunch of other stuff planned, but the Joe Black thing I think is so important. Really, I know there's going to be a huge section of people that only watch that part anyway. And everything else, for the most part, can be saved for next week and other videos. I want to just get to the commentary. Boop. Who's that? It's Andy Dick. Comedian, etc., 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 etc. Guy who's been around for a long time, you know, drug issues, drinking issues, all the rest of it. I did want to mention that Bill Barron shit is so awesome. It's one of the things that I would add to this, but I don't want it to get kind of lost in the shuffle. So I'm definitely going to talk about it and address it. But comedian Andy Dick arrested on suspicion of sexual battery in California. Why am I showing a picture of Andy Dick? I once ran a school where I taught women mixed martial arts. And the women themselves dubbed it the Pretty Bandage Fight School. And it was very intense. Some people would call it a self-defense class. I didn't see it that way. I was teaching them how to fight. I was teaching them how to be able to choke people out and break limbs and be able to fight from underneath, because chances are if they were being attacked, they would be less physically imposing than the person who was trying to hurt them. So I was teaching them every dirty fighting trick in the book, how to fight with a knife, how to, you know, stay alive, how to fucking kill people. It was very intense, and I was very proud of that work. And the place where I worked at the time actually provided a space because the owner believed so much in what I was doing. One of my students was a friend of mine, and she worked for a Cartoon Network. Oh shit. Put that Andy Dick picture back up. My friend worked for Cartoon Network, Turner. And part of her job was they had a lot of people who would come in as guests on Adult Swim cartoons, either to do voiceovers or to be part of things in general, whatever. In any case, she had to take old Andy Dick, and she had to pick him up and bring him where he needed to go. And took a moment when they were in a car that I know, and he started attacking her, being very aggressive, wanted to have sex, and he wasn't fucking asking nice. He was just trying to do it. So do I believe this thing about sexual battery in him? Abso-fucking-lutely I do. But Dana, fucking training kicked in. She grabbed him in a guillotine choke, fucking wrapped her legs around him, and fucking started choking that fucking asshole out. And so he fucking stopped and tried to make a joke of it. But she was able to stop him. This tiny, tiny woman was able to fucking stop this guy who was determined to fucking rape her. There's a lot of people who want to teach in Georgia wrestling. They want to teach the boys how to be, how to act, teach them wrestling stuff, give them advice on everything from parenting to what you should do in a situation and all the rest of it. And I say good. But teaching, I always said if you became a promoter or a booker just because you like the title, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And I will say that same thing for teaching, and I'll keep this short and sweet. If your thing about being seen as a leader and a teacher is about clout for yourself, then do us all a favor and fucking stop. Because chances are the things you're teaching are just really about how you want people to perceive you instead of true, practical, useful advice. And I'm just going to leave it there. And I really want you to think about that. Because we have a number of people who want to step up as leaders and teachers, but frankly, it concerns me. Because influence, as the great Varys said in Game of Thrones, grows like a weed. And weeds can be beautiful, right? Most wildflowers are weeds. But weeds can also choke out healthy plants and take over. So please, teach for the right reasons and teach the right shit, and we'll all be better off. This has been Full Disclosure.